Morning. Welcome to my channel. I'm Mark, the Clueless Luthier, and today we're on build 3, and we're doing some more work on the top. Now, so far, I decided to go ahead and cut out the sound hole. Haven't decided exactly how I'm going to support that yet, but for now, I'm set up to do it the standard way. And I have sanded it, well, scraped it and sanded it a little bit more to get it down to the thickness I want at this point, which is somewhere around 3 milliliters to maybe 3.2 milliliters in some spots, in that range. Then I also have used this template that I made before and lined out the braces. The next thing I'm going to do before I go any further is I'm going to use this. This is actually a photo from my first orchestra model, and I did this. This is something I did before. Is I'm going to measure the thickness at all the different spots. And then for later, although the thickness of the board is going to change as I do more sanding, but just to get an idea of where I was. Then I'll do the same thing once I get the braces on and finished forming them, and for the same reason as I'm voicing the guitar. So let's see. The other thing I wanted to show you is I'm going to start doing, I've started working on braces, and the first build, this is what I got. They were pre-formed. I did some work on them, but they were all pre-cut, pre-formed. This is what I got this time. And so far what I've done is I've ripped them to dimension. This is T5. They're just numbers for me. Transverse braces, cross braces. And what I'll be doing that first is getting them cut to length, laying them out, and radiusing them so that they match the top. So let's get started on the next step. All right, now that I have those written down, I'm going to start working on my cross brace. And so I'm going to take the first one and mark these points. This angle here comes out to about 98 degrees, so it's not exactly square. Okay. I'll get that more accurately in a second. So this is right. I gotta make sure I keep these straight. And here, I did cut these to length as well. Okay. All right, now I'll lay these out. Okay, what I've done, this is the left one, and I've laid this out. Let's see how I want it. Yes, these have to interlock. And so I've marked this one, and I'm going to cut out the top half, and then on the right one, I'm going to cut out the bottom half. So they'll link together. And the trick is to get this as tight as I can. So what I'm going to do is I am going to cut these a little bit small if I can. I can always come in with a chisel, sandpaper, something to clean them up, but I really, really want them to be nice and tight. Okay, I seem to have a really nice tight fit. So get some glue on this. Tight in there. So, a little brush action. Okay, let's do both of them. It's probably a bit much. Okay. Make sure we get them in the right order here. Oh, there's my mark. Okay. All right. And almost a little deep. This one is actually a little thicker than the other, but we'll take care of that later. Okay, I'm going to let this dry up before we do the next step. Okay, my X brace is all glued up and it fits really well. That worked out. So the next thing I have to do is radius it. And let me change the camera angle real quick. So this is how it fits on the top, and yeah, it lined up quite well. So now what I'm going to do, this is a 40-foot radius dish with sandpaper on it. And this is how I'm going to get, you can see how in the middle, well maybe you can't, but it bounces. The idea is to sand it. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell with all the sandings at the ends until I get that radius, which is the same as the top, into this. And so I don't want to push down the middle. What I want to do is sort of go back and forth like this until I'm start sanding down here as well. So okay, I prepared the braces and I also notched in, I will show real well, but like for the bridge and for the cross braces, they're tying in. I did 45-degree angles so that I can slide them in underneath. I just have to make sure the glue stays clear of that, or it can easily be taken out if I miss. But now it's time to, I'm going to go ahead and glue this up. All right, I got it all glued up. I didn't bother to video it. I've got a couple of videos out there of that. But I did want to show you an idea I got from Eric Schaefer. I thought of it just before I started doing this, so let me adjust the camera angle real quick. See down here, and here, and here, and around different places. I put this is like self-stick cork. I think he used little pieces of wood tacked down. But I got this in place, and I used these just to hold it still, because with this Gold Bar Dot, it's really easy for things to move around, and it worked great. So I'm gonna keep doing something like that from now on. So, a funny thing happened on the way to installing my tone bars. I was getting it laid out. He had to do some work in it, so I'm gonna take him down to tie him in to the cross brace. And I just took the piece of wood, laid it up, looked at it, and was like, this isn't right. It's, this doesn't look right. So, let me adjust the camera. It'll be easier to explain. So I'm looking at this, and I just put these up because I got to get an angle and taper them down. And I thought, what's wrong? So I grabbed my form, labeled here. Oh, I don't know why I put 18 there. That has to do with the wood, type of wood. I laid it on there. Well, that looks right. But it still didn't seem right. So I went back to the original design, and the obvious problem showed itself. When I labeled this thing, I put it, I thought, in the upper right-hand corner. Yeah, I should have put it here. So I was basically about to do these backwards. So I'm glad. I was like, great. I caught a really stupid mistake. So instead, I have gotten these ready. Sorry. To be tied in here. So, okay. Then it occurred to me, wait a minute. Did I label that before or after my last guitar? So, before. Took a mirror on a stick or whatever, put it in there and got some light in there, and sure enough, instead of coming from the treble up, they go from the bass down. The strange thing is, I love the sound of this guitar. I mean, the bass rings out pretty nicely. I don't know what the ramifications are going to be, but the next guitar I'm going to do correctly. So now back to our regularly scheduled build. I wanted to discuss one other thing I did. Because I messed up on these, I had cut grooves, slots anyway, to tuck these in. And I didn't like that. So what I did is I mixed up some old spruce shavings I had saved from before with some Titebond. Mixed it up just enough. I didn't want it real goopy. I wanted just enough so it would hopefully hold together. And I pushed it into these slots. And as long as I was at it, I said, hey, there's a little bit of a gap here, a little bit here, a little bit over here. Why not try it? So I'm letting this dry, and then I'm going to sand it out a bit and see how it does. Well, I think that little glue and wood dust shavings worked pretty darn well. I'm going to keep that in my quiver. Even the places where I didn't really need to do it, it closed it up nicely. And I have a lot more cleanup to do, but I'm not going to get too crazed on that yet, because the next thing to do is to voice and scallop the braces. And that'll be another video. So, hey, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Take care.